The first repurposed short that we did for Bear Grylls generated 1.6 million views, where previously videos that are repurposed from his appearances on podcasts only got 200 to 300,000 views. And since then, we generated over 10 plus million views from his podcast clips and 30 plus million views by just repurposing already existing long-form footage into viral short-form videos. Hi, my name is Calvin. I'm the owner and CEO of Cool Creatives, and in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly step by step how to edit and repurpose your longer-form videos into viral short-form videos. Let's go to the screen share. Alright, so I'm going to go straight into it. This is the 5-step system that works to actually create viral short-form videos from your longer-form podcast or longer-form videos. So there's 5 steps. Number 1 is find topics that hit STEPPS, which are viral components or viral factors that make something worth sharing. I'm going to explain in a bit. Find a hook, structuring your video, editing at sentence level, and editing for retention. So number 1 is steps. So steps is something I got from this book called Contagious, Why Things Catch On by Jonah Berger. Awesome book. Read it if you have the time. But basically, it's social currency, triggers, emotion, public, practical, and stories. So these are factors that make something worthwhile to share, aka something go viral, because what is virality is just something that people want to share to others, right? So I'm going to dive deep into each factor and kind of explain to you my line of thought when I made these podcast clips for Bear that actually has gone viral. So number 1 is social currency. What it is does sharing this make the person that shares it look good? Does it make them feel smart, feel prideful about their life, feel very in the know, feel updated? So people share content that makes them feel or look better to other people. Okay, that's literally what social currency is. So an example here is the hook is, how often do we see at school though the school hero? Action Lab doesn't always do that brilliant. So this hook, right, it's about a video. Bear basically said the people that didn't do good at school, or people that did do good at school, a lot of them didn't do well in life because they didn't build that resilience muscle. That's the point of the video. But what made this successful was sharing this makes the person look wise. And it could be a case where my initial thought when making this hook was people that actually relates to this, so they weren't good at school and they ended up being rich, being successful. They would want to share this on their story. They would want to repost this. They would want to like this because they relate to it, and it makes them seem wise. Oh, even though I didn't do good at school, I still became successful. Or a parent could share this to their kid to have their kid think them as wise, and so that their kid don't get too down if they don't do well at school. Or it just makes the person that shares this a bit of a contrarian. School's not that important, and it makes them seem smart, street smart, right? So this is an example of a social currency video or a social currency factor inside a video. Number 2 is triggers. So this is something that naturally reminds people to share it. So a cultural reference, a common phrase. And in this particular one, it's the Bible, a quote from the Bible. And there's no other thing that triggers a Christian man or woman to share other than something from the Bible, especially someone as famous as Bear Grylls, sharing something from the Bible. So this is a great example of a religious faith-based trigger. The video is basically do not be afraid, because the Bible repeats this command 365 times. And this is a cultural trigger that keeps the idea of the Bible top of mind, and it triggers the people that believe or read the Bible to share it naturally. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Number 3, emotion, very easy as well. Do the short you're cutting from, the long form videos or podcasts you're cutting from, does it make the people watching it feel something, right? Emotion, anger, inspiration, laughter, cuteness, like cat videos. What do you think cat videos go viral? Because it makes people go, oh. So same thing, right? So this 1 million views. If you're a billionaire on your deathbed and your family and friends all hate you, can you really say that's successful? This hits deep on the emotion of, is our work really that important compared to family? Done. Easy, right? Number 4 is public. Basically, the more visible a product, idea, or piece of content, and the more social proof it generates, makes even more people want to engage with it. It's the same principle as if you see a long line in a restaurant, you would definitely be curious, okay, how good is this restaurant if like loads of people are queuing to get into it or to eat the food, right? So it's same thing. In terms of content, this usually works if they see something like, for example, this is the video that we did for Bear, which has 5 million views. naturally, because it has 5 million views, more people would want to see what it's all about. So it's kind of like a self-reinforcing cycle. High view counts, comments, and visible engagement signal that something is worth paying attention to. So if it goes viral, it's easier to get more viral because you see a lot of different people, interacting with it, and so you're curious, and then you wanted to interact with it as well. So that's basically the main principle of the public principle. Number 5, practical. Is it useful? Can people actually apply it? So this is very your run-of-the-mill education content. So if you cut stuff from long-form videos, if there's anything practical, a new AI app, a new way of doing things, a contrarian way of doing things, then you can use this as a short-form video. Like for Thai, what we did was I leave 45-minute voice memos for ChatGPT, and this is just very practical because not a lot of people do this, right? And of course, number 6 is stories. Everyone loves a good story, and a good story spreads like wildfire. This one, 2.4 million views, about the story of Bear Grylls climbing Mount Everest, right? And bonus points if you have a complete narrative arc, which is the challenge, the adversity, how you get over that adversity in survival, and then the lesson that you got from that story. So the more conclusions or the more lessons you can get from the stories, the better that it's gonna perform because it makes it shareable. Okay, so this is not exclusively like, okay, one component per one video. The more components you can fit in one short form video, the better it's going to perform. I promise you, because when you see Bear's content that goes viral, it doesn't only hit one viral component, it actually hits several, right? And if you hit several, then you are increasing your likeliness or your chances of going viral. Okay. Okay. So that's step number 1. Why is that step number 1 and not the finding the hook first? Because you need to go into cutting the content using the mindset or the viral components that I just taught you. Okay. And then only then can you actually find a hook that will perform, right? But step 2 is finding the hook first. There's an old advertising saying 80% of your time should be on the headline. It's exactly the same for a hook of a short form video, right? So the hook is the first 3 seconds. You need to spend 80% of your time on these 3 seconds, right? So how to find your hook? I always like to use the script. So upload your long form content to the script, read through the transcript, and highlight sentences that you think would make you stop scrolling, okay? So great example hooks from Bear Grylls and Tai Lopez here. How often do we see at school though? The school hero actually in life doesn't always do that brilliantly. Contrarian hook. If you're a billionaire on your deathbed, a common, I would say a contrarian hook, but also a widely accepted view, which is emphasized more by the fact that he's Bear Grylls. When was your darkest moment? Just a very easy interview question hook that makes people interested in what he had to go through adversity-wise. And this is an example of a visual hook, actually. So the difference between a normal hook and a visual hook also has an image that makes people stop scrolling. So the most powerful hook is an image that stops the scroll and words that stop the scroll. An example is this one for Tai Lopez. All the money in the world wouldn't matter if there was no women. So it would be this, and then also a picture of Sydney Sweeney, because what stops the scroll more than Sydney Sweeney, I guess. So yeah, this is the example here. So moving back, so that's the hook. Spend 80% of your time there. And step 3 is structuring your video. So this I learned from Tai Lopez. I applied to Bear Grylls and it was a massive success. So a lot of people think the hook or the first 3 seconds is done and done. If you have a good hook, you'll get a viral video. That's wrong. You need to keep people watching, as if you're watching an animated video or like a series. You know that the greatest videos or the greatest content are the content that makes people keep watching. So number 1, after you get the hook, you need to build the interest before leading up to the story or the takeaway. So the hook, and then the interest, or what I like to call the second hook. So build on the hook, add context, deepen curiosity. Could be a preface to a story or a story that leads to the conclusion or the message of the reel or the short. And then number 3, part 3, you get the payoff. What did they learn? What's the insight? People love messages that they can share, that they can relate to. And then part 4, obviously the CTA. This is optional. If you're selling something, you can have this, or you're selling like a lead magnet, you can have this, but if not, no need. I'll give you a real example, right? So the hook, I failed essay a selection the first time around. People don't know that. This is direct statement that creates curiosity. A lot of people don't know this fact, so it's a shocking fact hook. Number 2, the interest or second hook. It's to emphasize that he did fail and add context of what happened when you failed. So 120 of us lined up. There'll be 8. and then at the first time I just wasn't fit enough, strong enough, smart enough, right? So it deepens the story with specific details, right? And then it leads towards what the takeaway or the conclusion, because the conclusion or the message is what makes people share. So be sure you have a good conclusion or a good message in the reel that you're going to cut from. But went back, second time was the key, and then never give up. Powerful lesson and relatable and inspirational, right? So the hook, the second hook, the conclusion, and the CTA. They're not needed here because Bear doesn't sell anything in his content. So the rights, the results, 2.2 million views, 53,000 likes, 2,600 shares. People are liking it, they're sharing it. The hook grabs the attention, the interest keeps them watching, and the takeaway makes them feel something. Okay. And then step number 4 is we go into post-production, is edit at the sentence level. So this is very important. I would say this is more important than graphics or animations or that type of stuff. Like, social media likes organic stuff. Editing is important, but not in a way that you need a motion graphic designer. It's just, does this sentence need to be here, right? Whenever I cut shorts for Bear, I just think, does this sentence actually need to be here? Was this sentence point actually covered in a previous part of the video? And can this sentence actually be cut? The shorter, the more your content has brevity, the more likely that it's gonna perform well. Okay, so every word needs to earn its place, and every sentence needs to actually contribute something to the video, right? Adding a new information, deepen the emotion, setting the context, making it more dramatic. It's tedious work, and AI still cannot replace this. So you need to go in and make your content as short, as concise as possible, while still keeping the sentences intact that actually contributes to the video going viral. Okay, so here's a real example that I did before and after sentence level editing. As you can see, right, there's a lot of ums. So I look back to when I lost my dad. I deleted I look back to when. I just went to when I lost my dad, right? I felt like the world was wrong. So I felt the same. The interviewer here also lost his mom, but that doesn't contribute to the reel, so I cut it out, right? Felt the same. I felt like my world was wrong. So I took one half of this sentence, half of this sentence. I felt ill-equipped. I feel like this one is not really important because obviously you feel ill-equipped when you just lost a parent. So I deleted that. This one has no context. So a lot of people also leave out stuff that makes sense in the context of the long form video, but it doesn't make sense when it's cut into a short form video. So make sure all your short form videos also have context in of its own, right? It needs to make sense without them watching your long form video. Remember that. Okay, I just felt like this is redundant. And then basically what he wanted to say is, I wish I said to him what more of a beautiful dad he was, right? And that's what I did. I cut it there. And then he said, and thank you for the encouragement. Obviously, that's not really that important. And then go straight into the lesson. He always used to say, listen, what matters in life, blah, 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 blah. See? And doing your best, as the scouts say, right? And look at this, and doing your best. And then it says, as the scouts say. This is not important to the context of the short form video. So I cut it out, right? So you can see how ruthless I am when I'm editing this. And even cutting sentences that actually does sound nice in a long form video, but it wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't be brief if put in a short form video. So don't be afraid to also cut out beautiful sentences if it doesn't help contribute to the virality or contribute to the story of the shorts, right? Okay. So verbal tics, I deleted fillers, incomplete thoughts, hedging, kind of said, repetition, right? So the result was, it was a 43% shorter reel with the same meaning, a punchier delivery, and the story lands harder because it's faster, right? Now, step 5 is editing for retention. So after you edit at the sentence level, you need to edit for retention. You can have subtitles, graphics, and real B-roll. Again, this is more important than this, but if you add this, then you're just going to amplify the video that you're doing, right? So number 1, subtitles, you need to have them. It's non-negotiable, whatever style you like, but you need to have them. Use graphics and animation only when they serve their story. The story, you don't always need fancy graphics, but if your story can be visualized better, then use it. And use real B-roll, not stock footage. This is very important. A lot of people still use stock footage. Use real B-roll of yourself or your client or of the podcast whenever possible, right? Photos of yourself, videos of yourself that actually support the reel, right? Do not use stock footage. And if you had to use stock footage or there's no real B-roll that you have, because it's organic content, use movie clips. Movie clips are gold and retain much better than stock footage, okay? And don't forget to keep it under 90 seconds, right? After 90 seconds, people zone out. right? For 99% of your content, 90 seconds is the ceiling, unless your story is so interesting that people can watch for like 2 to 3 minutes, okay? And don't forget for your editing, if you edit yourself or you have an editor, safe zones vary by the platform. So you make sure that your content or your graphics are within the safe zones of each platform. If you're interested in having these safe zones on the green, you can put on your CapCut, Premiere Pro, After Effects. We have all safe zones, drag and drop files here. Download this file down below in the bio, so you can access the safe zones as well. You'll get access to this document basically. And then obviously, the last thing is is this the last thing? Yeah, almost the last thing. So the last note is balance editing with FaceTime. If you're cutting from a long form video or a podcast, don't forget to not only have graphics or B-rolls or everything like points, don't forget to have your face in it. Don't over edit, because people need to associate your face with the message you're actually showing, right? So don't forget, you're building a personal brand, okay? The face is the most engaging element in any video. So use editing only to clarify the message, incite emotion, visualize complex ideas, and don't over edit. Okay. So putting on all together, this is the main podcast that we took from Diary of the CEO, and then the results you can see on Instagram or above. Okay. So to recap, step 1, find topics that hit SDPPS. The more viral components you can get inside one video, the better it's going to perform. Step 2, find the hook first, right? Spend 80% of your time into finding the hook. Step 3, structuring it with as many parts of the structure as possible. Part 1, the hook. The second hook, the takeaway, and the CTA. The second hook can also be a story. Step 4, edit at the sentence level. Make every word earn its place, right? So if you want to see a real transcript for full that I got from the rough cut to actually the edited version, you can have a look at this document, right? I cut one without when I remove 7 times and that it's like this, it's like this, removed incomplete thought. And in step 5, edit for retention, so subtitles, graphics, and real b-roll, to make the viewing experience as best as possible for the viewers and actually keep them engaged. And then basically once FaceTime, the results: 937,000 views, 41K likes, 3,000 plus shares. Why this specific reel worked from this podcast, you can take a look later, is because all 5 steps were executed perfectly. There were multiple steps, perfect structure for ruthless editing, graphics, etc., etc. So what this proves, right? What this proves is what we did for Bear, you can do yourself, right? As long as you have existing content or you're recording content from a longer form video, you can use this exact system for your long form videos, your podcast, and actually generate traffic organically to your short form videos and eventually your podcast, your personal brand, and drive revenue to your offers, right? So this is exactly what we do at Crew Creatives. So now you know how to repurpose your longer form videos into viral short form videos without you having to record any new additional content. Now, if you don't want to do this yourself, or you want someone to take over your personal brand, drive ads towards it, and actually generate you revenue, then head over to crewcreatives.com to see how we can help. I'll see you in the next video.